Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Raya, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. Hey guys, and welcome back. Boy, do I have thoughts for you today. We are filming Monday, October 6th. Is today the 6th? 3 days past Life of a Showgirl that dropped. I can't wait to talk about it and discuss everything. Before we get into that, if you're liking the show, please rate 5 stars anywhere you get podcasts and follow us on YouTube at Coffee Meets Vodka. You can follow us on social media at coffee.meets.vodka. Share with your friends, tag us in your stories. I would love to hear it. You can also email us, coffeemeetsvodkapod@gmail.com. Don't forget to get your merch. We have BravoCon coming up soon, which I have this cute little BravoCon shirt that I got off Etsy, and I'm so excited. But get your merch now, get your hats, because I don't know that there will be any left post BravoCon, but we'll just have to see. I'm so excited to go to Vegas. I am overwhelmed per usual. Shout out to my friend Amanda, host of Bella Talks TV, for planning a spreadsheet, a Google Doc itinerary for us, because I do not have the mental capacity for that, and obviously I want it to be a good experience. So I'm going with seasoned vets, so that will be fun too. And yeah, you know, me and my other girlfriend who's here in Houston are like, it's giving we're the only ones in Houston going to BravoCon, because we posted in our BravoCon Facebook group. You know, I'm like obsessed with Facebook groups, and no one responded. We wanted to do like a brunch before, and it's giving we're the only people in Houston who like Bravo, so, and are going to BravoCon. So I don't get it. Maybe we'll just do the brunch anyways, and anybody who likes Bravo hopefully can show up. Or if you don't and you just want to like have fun and you love a theme, like, come on. Where are the fun people like that who like love a theme, love to dress up, love to, you know, just be a vibe person, you know? So I'll let you know if that comes to fruition. I'm so distracted. So let's get into today's episode. Elephant in the room. The last Showgirl dropped October 3rd, Mean Girls Day, which was Friday. I'm extremely disappointed. I think this is probably the worst album she has put out. Not to say that it's not so great. Hold on. Let me get my thoughts together so I can properly tell you and back up my argument as to why I just don't think that this is her best work. I am an OG Swiftie, okay? Like, I was in the trenches on LimeWire, you know, in junior high and high school, obviously back before we knew that that was like illegal, you know, listening to like unreleased songs and things like that, and, you know, try to attend concerts when I can. And yeah, sure, Jan, I didn't get to go to the Eras tour because people are spending arm and a leg on price gouge tickets, and I'm not in that space to be able to do so. So unfortunately, a real fan did not get to go, but I'm glad everybody else had fun. I just think this is some of her most uninspired, lack of depth songwriting. I think it's just so bad. You know, people are like, oh, well, it's fun. Okay, but you agree. You're not saying that it's great. You're just saying that it's fun. And we can have fun and we can, you know, dance and whatever. But I don't even think there's that many bops on there. I think it's a little tone deaf, which is what she referenced in one of the songs. But I do think it's a little tone deaf for the current climate that we're in, with the current economic climate that we're in. We're on the brink of World War III. There are a lot of people that, you know, can't afford food and water and housing, and, you know, a lot of nations around us are going through it as well. I'm not saying that's Taylor Swift, you know, could be the fucking superhero white savior to save it all. I'm just saying, also, when you're saying you go on your boyfriend's podcast to say that this is what you've been wanting to say for years. And by years, to me, it's giving 6 years, because you're referencing Reputation and you're referencing Folklore. Okay, you said that, not us. We're not comparing this album to Folklore. You compared this album to Folklore, which is crazy. I just find it really hard to believe that this is Karma, the last album, lost album. Yes, that was never confirmed, but for Taylor to say that this is what she's been wanting to say for 6 years, what is it? What are you saying? That you like getting fucked on a PJ? I mean, I personally love that for her. Like, but who can relate to that? Maybe 3 other people in the world. Like, and it's like, I get it. It's like a fantasy and whatever. But if my husband is like, if the like deepest song on the album for, you know, that is about my husband is So High School and Would, to me, it's kind of a reflection of the relationship, and it lacks depth in terms of that really, really soul connection. I'm not saying that they don't have a soul connection. I'm not saying that they are not soulmates and they have their own thing going on. I do believe that their relationship is real. Although I will say, after listening to this album, I kind of full circled moment back to, wait, it's a PR relationship. And I never, ever thought that. I never thought that it was a PR relationship. And now I'm kind of like, this is giving PR, because you're with this man for 2 years and some change, and the like deepest songs that you can write on it is Would and So High School and The Alchemy. When she put those 2 on TTPD, I didn't think they were that deep. They're cute, whatever. Watching the podcast on New Heights with them, I was like, oh, So High School makes sense, like very simple. And I get it. You know, when you are in love and when you are in a healthy relationship and you do support each other, there's really nothing to write home about. Like, sorry, I'm so happy. So I get it. I don't think it was, those are the best songs. I also think it's kind of crazy that her and Travis's song is So High School and not The Alchemy, because I feel like The Alchemy is like a little deeper than So High School, but I get it. It's nostalgic for them. It makes sense in their relationship. Okay. But then you're 35, about to be 36. Travis just turned 36 yesterday, and you are writing songs like a teen, like a child, about how big your fiance's dick is and how well he does the deed. Like, I don't know. To me, it's just so immature, and it like cheapens it a bit. It cheapens the album. It cheapens the relationship. I will say, I think Wood is like the worst song on there. I think I'll go through a list of like what my favorite and non-favorite songs are. I just think it's so immature to be 35. Like, babe, we're pushing 40. And not that I'm an ageist. I'm just like, let's like really think about this. Like, you've written some bangers, some really deep, thought-provoking things, even on 1989, even on Reputation, even on Red, even on, all these other like Lover, even on these other poppy albums. And that's the best that you can do. Like, she said something on Guilty as Sin, about basically like having sex with like Maddie Healy, and like, but didn't describe it so vulgarly, if that makes sense. It was more romantic. And I get it. But I just, what's also crazy is people are like taking this, they're like, this song's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And 23 centimeters is 9 inches in inches, and Travis has a 9-inch dick. Like, okay, even if that's the case, like, I just think that's so weird to be talking like that about your fiance. I'm sorry, I think it's weird. And you're also telling me that none of these Brits had big dicks. I fucking beg to differ. And they're uncut. I beg to fucking differ. And that is just, I have chills. That is just my jam. So I beg to differ that this is your first big dick at 35 years old. Like I really beg to differ. I don't think all of them were big, but I'm just saying like you weren't saying that before. I will say like I think The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived about Maddie Healy. I think it was like a mix between Maddie Healy and Joe Alwyn, or maybe it was just Maddie Healy, whatever. I think it was an innuendo. I think it was both physically and also like emotionally. Like you're just like a very small, like, you know, whatever. But also it's so funny because sometimes those small dicks really just, they make you go crazy because they're so, it's like nothing's good. So then you're like, wait, I'm in love with you? I don't know. Just me? Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's think about it. Let me see. I have some notes. Let's talk about the marketing. For the Life of a Showgirl, with all of the marketing, all of the album variants, imagine, first of all, getting all of those album variants, like 12 of them, to like be one of her worst albums. Again, maybe it'll grow on me like the others, or in general, like people are like, oh, it has to grow on you. Oh, you have to see the theater production of it. Oh, you need to see behind the scenes. Oh, you have to see the music video. Oh, you have to see the lyric video. We'll get into that because I that should not be a thing. I think if the music doesn't stand alone on its own, it's just not good. And that's fine. And I think that that's very telling for the amount of marketing that went into this. All of the countdowns, all of the variants, all of the photo shoots, all of the behind the scenes, all of this cardigan, all of that. Like nothing is matching. Nothing is giving showgirl vibes. And I know she's like, what's behind the curtain? Okay, one of the ones that I think is behind the curtain is Wood. It's me getting fucked on a PJ after my world tour. Okay, I love that. Extremely unrelatable, but I love that for you. I still think it could have been written better. Fate of Ophelia is the best song on there. I think it got great storytelling, great lyricism. The production is great. I like the metaphors and things like that. I think that one's good. But other than, and like the Showgirl song with Sabrina Carpenter, it's okay. It's still on the like mid to good range, but I just think she is trying a little too hard to be Sabrina Carpenter. I also think that the vulgarity is just a little inauthentic to her. I think that she's trying to do the whole over-sexualization thing that Sabrina Carpenter does with the Juno and then the pinup style and whatever, but it kind of works for her because she's small and cute and blonde and tiny, like a little Polly Pocket, and she came out like that. By the way, this album of, what was the one of, not Man's Best Friend, the other one, Sabrina Carpenter? I'm like drawing a blank.
Short and Sweet.
Short and Sweet. I was like Sweet and Sour. That's Olivia Rodrigo. Short and Sweet is her 6th album, is Sabrina Carpenter's 6th album. And everybody's like, oh, best new artist, you know? So she's been working on it for a while. And she obviously is a Disney star. And like many who have come before her, kind of wanted to break the mold. And this just worked for her. By the way, like I met Sabrina Carpenter like years ago when I was in LA. She came into my restaurant with Danielle Fisher, and I guess Danielle Fisher's husband. But this was when she was on Girl Meets World, and I actually liked Girl Meets World.
Oh, me too.
Did you? Okay, because it was so funny because actually the main girl Riley was like kind of annoying, and like Sabrina Carpenter's role and you know who she was, whatever. Like I really liked her character, and I think it only got 2 seasons and then it got canceled.
Yeah, it was really short. I don't even remember how it ended. I feel like it was.
I don't remember either because I remember waiting. I saw 2 seasons and I remember waiting and was like, this is good. Corey was insufferable. You know, that was a whole thing on there. But I liked it. And I think this was around the time that season 2 wrapped and I had just binged it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like and what is she, like fucking 12 or 13 at the time? Like she was young.
Oh, so it ended with Topanga is not moving to London and Sean was going to illegally adopt Maya, which is Sabrina Carpenter. And it's just them like having like a talk about their future.
How many seasons?
3.
Oh, so I missed one. I can't remember the last episode that I saw. But anyways, this is around that time. And Sabrina, obviously, I mean, one, she's like a child, and two, she's a child actress and whatever. Like, this was, I mean, here's the thing. She was fucking 12, okay? Like, and my personality is a lot, but whatever. But I didn't do anything. I just, like, sat them. But they came in and they sat down, and like Danielle was speaking for her, and she was just like kind of looking down like, oh my God. This was at a time when she was like really timid, and I heard that like she was like really shy, like that was her personality. But I get it. When you're 12 and you're, you know, kind of that preteen, one, the awkward stage, and two, it's like the industry is crazy. You have crazy fans coming up to you, like all the things. And Danielle was really like a mentor to her. And I think they're still close. I'm not too sure, but I knew at least at the time she was like, you know, mentoring her or whatever. But I thought that was really cute. But so obviously when I hear this Short and Sweet album, I'm just like, this is not the same girl that came into my restaurant. Obviously she's, you know, a lot older now, but you know, this was her 6th album. So I just feel like for Taylor Swift to set the bar so high on a standard based off of something that she has set, she has pulled out of thin air and curated and created this Taylor Swift entity for a 12th studio album. This did not hit for me. This was very below par. I felt like this was a lot of her reject songs for like a lot of the other albums, like that they didn't, the tracks that didn't get to be put on the albums. And she's just like, yeah, let's do it. It felt very rushed. I didn't think the production was all that. The lyrics, fucking some of the worst lyrics of Taylor Swift that I've ever heard. Have we heard worse? Yeah, Rebecca Black. Okay, got it. But I'm saying for Taylor Swift, based off of the precedent that she has set, not her best work. Rolling Stone gave her a 5-star. I feel like that was paid. Everybody else is giving, you know, rating this album a 5. I couldn't agree more. The marketing does not match. Oh, let me go back on saying this. I thought Life of a Showgirl. I'm thinking we're getting I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. I'm thinking we're getting Bejeweled. I was begging and desperate for a Long Live Part 2 based off the Eras Tour. And then, you know, we got Life of a Showgirl, which is like kind of has the Eras Tour audio and stuff like that. And, you know, okay, whatever. We did not, I guess allegedly Father Figure is about getting her masters back. Could have fooled me. Don't know. Wasn't deep. I don't get it. We didn't get a song, like a gut-wrenching song about, it could even be a beat about getting her masters back. We didn't get a gut-wrenching song about how Travis and her have flown all around the world together to support each other's career, and how her love is actually celebrated, and how this is a turning point and the first one, and that they're gonna get married and she's gonna have his baby or whatever the fuck. And we didn't get a song about that one night where he missed like half her show and she's performing August, and then she like gets really excited because she sees him in the crowd. We didn't get that. How did you feel about that? We didn't get a song about the extreme heat or cold or fans dying or, you know, production getting fucked up, or the grueling rehearsals. I also didn't see really any, and maybe I didn't pay attention that hard, but I didn't really see any alternates, you know, to the dancer. So it's like, what if one of them got hurt? Like, what happened there? I don't know how you can make a fun song about that, but I'm saying maybe that could have been wrapped into one of like Life of a Showgirl, of like, you know, or what about also like you setting this precedent for yourself and feeling like you constantly have to outdo, and, you know, you're competing against yourself and things like that. Like, we didn't even get that. That could have been this too, Life of a Showgirl, and you're competing with yourself about how to be the next bigger, badder thing. I know that she has a lyric in there that says, you're only as good as your last hit, which I also feel like Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco had a lyric about that. Was that in Blue Flame or something? Because she was like, you're only as hot. Selena Gomez was like, my favorite lyric is this, like, you're only as hot as like when you're young, or something like that. Nothing? Mm-mm. Okay, I'll have to think about it. I also think if the album and the art doesn't stand alone and you have to do the Easter eggs and you have to do the dude, imagine paying $12 fucking dollars to go to a movie theater to watch a lyric music video. Nothing sounded more stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not mad at Tay for getting her bag, I guess, but that was like so stupid. I think people are stupid to have bought into that. That was weird. That was fucking weird, dude. Imagine going to a damn theater to watch a music video and then a lyric video of Opalite.
Yeah, I thought she dropped the movie because I saw someone post it and I was like, oh, I didn't know about this. And then she said she had like the whole theater to herself. And I was like, that's so weird. Like you would think a Taylor Swift movie was popping off. And I just didn't look into it because I didn't care.
I think it was like, okay, somebody said it was like an hour long with everything. So it was like BTS, her describe. Also, she's never described an album as much as she has this one. In my opinion, it's giving flop because you knew it needed help. You knew you needed to help it along and explain, this is why this and that and blah, blah, blah. And also her explanations are not that deep. I need answers and Easter eggs and explanations for like other stuff. And I'm not a big Taylor Swift Easter egger. Like I feel like that shit would send me into a psychosis. And plus like nothing is ever really confirmed. And she was doing all the variants with the like purple glitter, blue glitter, red glitter or black glitter or like whatever. And then like nothing was like confirmed or whatever. I haven't seen anything confirmed. Okay. She also, which I don't think this is a knock, I just would like to know why, every song on the album is sampled. I thought Father Figure would be a little bit more George Michael. We got Cool on there from Jonas Brothers. We got Circles by Post Malone. We got Demi Lovato's Don't Break Your Heart. We got Weezer, Beverly Hills. We got a couple other ones. Obviously that's an Easter egg. I would like to know what that's about because I know that for sure was not on accident. Like she didn't just kind of forget and then like was going to get sued by all these stars. And plus George Michael's team posted a story, I think on Thursday before the release to say, oh, we're so grateful Taylor reached out and wanted to do a rendition of Father Figure, like, blah, blah, blah. So I just know she also reached out to Jonas Brothers, aka Joe Jonas, and was like, hey, like, I want to use your song. Like, I'll pay you this much or like whatever the fuck. So I don't know. I just think overall it was a money grab and it's the most uninspired she's ever been. Here's the thing. You can still enjoy it and I'm sure it'll grow on me, but I just don't think Travis inspires some of her best work. I don't think that their relationship is deep and maybe deep is a loose term. Maybe obviously they have their own connection and it's deep in their own way, but to me it is giving PR relationship. And let me tell you why I think it's a PR relationship now. I don't think this is true. I'm just like going over theories in my head and I'm like, damn, this is kind of making sense now. I understand. And I never thought that, right? Neither of them needed in their careers. They were rich and popular and famous in their own respective fields and their own respective careers. What I think is crazy is that Travis isn't really her type. Aesthetically, he is extremely hot. I think it's her type. But emotionally and what he does is not her type. He's American. He plays football. He is kind of a meathead. He's fun. He's like not moody, broody. And I get it. Normally, you date all this type and then you kind of marry something opposite. You marry a safe, healthy option, right? That you enjoy and that you have fun with. And I totally get that. But I also think that she was aging out. And I might, take this theory back. I don't know. I'm just kind of processing in real time and kind of just thinking about all facets. That she was aging out. Imagine being 35, almost, or 40, whatever, and still never settling down. And, I just think it wouldn't be good for the optics of her career, writing all these love songs and blaming all these guys for being the problem. But then at 40, you're still single and now you're married to the game and, the hustle, as you say. And, it's not good for business, I guess, for selling this dream of Taylor Swift, the entity, not Taylor Swift, the person, right? Obviously, as a woman, I think, you don't have to get married if you don't want to. I think, you know, you don't have to settle down if you don't want to. I don't think men are the end all be all, or like a relationship is the end all be all to make or break your life, right? Like, obviously. But for this dream that they are selling, I think it does. So I don't know. I think maybe Travis was kind of interested. Somebody heard the podcast, got in touch, and was like, this is perfect. You guys, you know, need to figure it out. And I do think it's a good match. I think, you know, he's a Libra. But here's my thing. Taylor is a Cancer moon and a Scorpio rising and an Aquarius Venus. All very deep, free thinking, very in touch with their emotions type gal. And Travis, I believe, has either a Gemini or a Sagittarius moon, and like a lot of Sagittarius, Libra, air, like fun, rah, rah, rah. As somebody who has also kind of dated people like that, the depth doesn't really come. Like, I feel like, you know, if she, like, I don't think that they're having in-depth conversations about how the world works and your feelings and things like that. I think Travis would probably make a joke. Now, the Libra is very sensitive. I think he's a secure man. I think he's in touch with his emotions. I think he knows how to support. I think, you know, both the Kelsey brothers were raised right from what I've seen based off their podcast and what I know about them. I think, you know, they both treat women with respect. I think they're good partners, all the things. But I don't know if they are having, you know, these long drawn out deep conversations about the world and emotions and how do you feel about that, and let's talk about art. Like, at the end of the day, he's a footballer, you know, whatever stereotype you want to say. Like, I mean, it is. And so hot, such a dream man. Again, I think that they are great, and do not twist my words. I think that they are great and healthy in their own world, and I love that. But I just thought that this album really lacked depth. Like, I can't say it enough, clearly. Okay, enough on that, but let me tell you my favorite songs. If you care, if you have stuck around this far, let me tell you. I don't really know in any particular order, but Fate of Ophelia, love. Elizabeth Taylor, it's fine. I mean, I do like it. I like the beat. I like it's very Elizabeth Taylor. Everybody thought that it was going to be like that, and like all the AI versions were correct. So I don't know what we want to do with that information. I don't really know what Elizabeth Taylor has to do with this song though. Like, I know she's like talking to her. Elizabeth Taylor's been married fucking 26 times, like whatever. Like, I get it, but she's like talking about something else, and then she just like says Elizabeth Taylor, so whatever. I gotta look at the lyrics a little bit more. Opalite is cool. I think people are kind of overreacting about the Kayla Nicole line about her being in her phone and you were just a pose. I mean, it could have been worse. Honey, I'm a Honey stan. I really like Honey. I think that might be one of my favorite songs on the album, because I too think it's a slight when people call me sweetheart, darling, honey, like whatever. So I hate that. I totally get it. And then it's like, you know, with that certain person, you're like, oh, wait, I don't hate that. And Life of a Showgirl with Sabrina Carpenter is good. It's not great. Wishlist is okay as well. That's apparently Taylor Swift's favorite song. She's idolizing a simple life, a trad wife lifestyle. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I think it's fine. Here are the worst songs on the damn album. Eldest Daughter. What the hell? We could have gone so many other different directions. I think that was such a miss. Ruin the Friendship. I get it. It's about some guy that she never dated, that she's written songs about before. Babe, he's already gotten songs, and you're 35. Why are we writing about prom? And it's exactly what my fear was about. I thought this was going to be about Blake Lively and, you know, or anybody who like ruins any type of friendship. But no, it's about a guy that you never dated and that you wish you would have taken a chance on to ruin the friendship. Boring. And sorry, RIP to that man. Canceled. I think what ruins it for me is Did your girl boss too close to the sun? Are you having far too much fun? That? Hello? Please, jail. That's the worst fucking line I've ever heard in my life. And the friends dripped in Gucci. I immediately heard that at 3 a.m. because I woke up on Friday, Friday in the morning, and I like randomly woke up and I was like, let me listen. Immediately at 3 a.m. before I'm on Twitter, before I'm on anything, before people have waken up and have an opinion, I literally was like, I think Cancel is about her still being secretly friends with Blake Lively. If that's the case, if you are okay with your friends extorting you, but you want to keep them in your circle because it's like we all kind of fuck up and lack accountability, but I've been friends with you so long and I'm your children's godmother, so like fuck it. Like really, I'm not going to hold you accountable and nobody else is going to hold you accountable. I don't know. Lost all respect if that turns out to be the case, which I guess we'll never know. Would just so immature, as you heard me say earlier. Actually romantic. What I think is so funny about this song is that she's engaged to Travis Kelce, who is the love of her life, and somehow Maddie Healy is still living rent-free in her head. Because Charlie XCX's now husband is bandmates with Maddie Healy of the 1975. And I guess Charlie XCX called her Boring Barbie. Babe, could have called you so much worse things than Boring Barbie. And I just, it lives rent free in her head so much so that she made a song about it. And I actually understand like the bully aspect part of it where you're like getting off on like getting bullied. I feel like that's a little me coded as well. But to just like reference Charlie XCX because she called you Boring Barbie, and that's like the worst that she could do. And it is kind of like a chihuahua barking in a purse, but I don't think it was the burn that you thought it was, because although you're saying like, oh my gosh, ouch, that was like a paper cut, it obviously bothered you enough to write a fucking song about it and put it on an album. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God. And she, you know what? She's going around doing all these interviews saying that like, no, like usually when I put out an album, it's like a year before, but like this is in real time. My life is still in that same place. We know there's no depth to it. I don't know if I missed one. Father figure. I wanted more father figure George Michael. Like I wanted more, saying that your dick is bigger, or you make deals with the devil, or I make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. I guess that's in reference to buying back her masters from Scott Bruschetta, but I needed more. It wasn't that great. I think the crown, I'm thinking Evermore, saying like, you make a crown out of my pennies, or whatever the lyric is, like that is more like imaginary, idealized to me than saying I make deals with the devil because my dick's bigger. When I saw that on Twitter, I didn't think that was real. I thought that was like an AI photo, which I do think it was an AI photo, but I thought it was like, I didn't think that she said it. Again, I was listening once at 3 a.m. I don't know, must have missed it. Yeah, I know this will be an absolutely unpopular opinion. I'm prepared to get annihilated. I just am holding my girl accountable for the standard that she set. And I just expected more out of this album, especially if she's, going to do a little exit for a while, which is another Easter egg that she's been hinting. I don't, she's not quitting the entertainment industry or music industry. I never thought that. And that was confirmed, which is weird that people were thinking that. But if she's taking a little break to be married, settle down, have kids, just be a wag and, maybe write songs for other artists or like whatever, I think that's best. And I'm disappointed that we were left on such a uninspired climax, if you will. So I know you won't agree, but I would like to hear your thoughts. It doesn't mean that I'm a hater. It doesn't mean that I'm not a Swiftie, because I'm a stan, if anything. But I just, it was a miss for me. Okay, moving on. Speaking of, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's wedding was last weekend. She looked so gorgeous. I haven't seen linked photos anywhere, but we did get her posting in real time. Thank God. I'm sorry, but Selena, I love you. Thank you. You're giving the people what they wanted. And Benny waited for her to post, and it just was cute. She posted like Polaroid. She had 3 dresses. She looked so elegant, and Ralph Lauren, and it was a nice, do you remember where it was? Selena Gomez's wedding?
Wasn't it just in California or something?
Santa Barbara. Yes, you're right. Santa Barbara. And they had like a large tent, and paparazzi shots were able to get any shots. And she spent like $300,000 on security and, extra tents and things like that. So I'm glad that everybody had fun. I mean, what a star-studded event, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway, she looked beautiful. I wish them well. Diddy was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months. Let's look it up. CBS. Diddy was sentenced just over 4 years for 2 prostitution-related charges. Combs was also given 5 years for 5 years of supervised release and a $500,000 fine. Combs was sentenced in federal court in New York City 3 months after he was convicted on 2 prostitution-related charges. He was acquitted on the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. Still crazy to me. Prosecutors had requested a sentence of 11 years and 3 months in prison. Combs' lawyers argued that he should receive no more than 14 months with credit for a time he already served since getting arrested in September of 2024. Cassie did put out right before he got sentenced, I think the day before he got sentenced, she penned a letter to the judge. I didn't read it. It was TLDR, but I think basically saying, please let him get the maximum sentence, which he did not. So shaking my head. I mean, literally, I have no words. I think the victims were robbed, and especially Cassie, the justice system. Well, don't make me cry. Let's go on. Bad Bunny is going to be performing at the Super Bowl, which I love. Puerto Rican. I love it. I'm so excited. I love Bad Bunny. I think he's fucking hilarious. Now, I don't listen to his music too much, I guess, so I need to get on that, but I do love VIP. What is that song?
I'm not good with song titles.
But it's that one. You guys know what I'm talking about. I do love that one. I also love that recently people were discussing about, how he's illegal, and he's not. Because to remind you, Puerto Rico is a part of the U.S., which makes him an American citizen. I do think because Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory that they're not allowed to vote, but they are a U.S. citizen. I love that for him. He was also just on SNL saying that, I didn't realize this, that he was he did a 31 show residency in Puerto Rico.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm excited. That shit's going to be lit. That's going to be so lit. I'm excited for that. Brittany Cartwright has quit Special Forces day 1. I'm not watching Special Forces. I feel like maybe I should get into it this season because we have Teresa Giudice. We had Gia Giudice on there. We had Brittany Cartwright, a couple other people. I have to tell you, I would literally never do Special Forces. That's my worst nightmare. I think on Giggly Squad or some article, I don't know, somebody posted a quote that apparently Paige DeSorbo was asked to be on Special Forces and she immediately turned it down, as would I. Like $100,000. I mean, maybe Brittany needs the money that bad. Like, Jack's racking up her mortgage to $18,000 a month due to unpaid taxes for 2 years plus their mortgage. I mean, that sucks. Really, really sad for her. So she quit day 1, got her $100,000 and left. I guess if you win Special Forces, it's different. You win more. I don't really know the rules of the game. She also, it looks like that she took out her breast implants recently. She posted a photo, I don't know, yesterday, the day before, saying she was like, I did a thing. They said to get rid of what doesn't serve me. So I got rid of what doesn't serve me, and it looks like her boobs are smaller. She kind of got a mommy makeover, and I love that for her. The tits needed to go. Woo! That hurts my back just looking at it. If you guys are not watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this year, You need to. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? You have to get into it. This is like OG New York, you know, when they're just friends and they're laughing, but then they're fighting. And then I will say the fighting in Housewives in general has just gotten to be way too much. Like just way too much. Like it's just not even believable that you guys aren't friends. You're just here to create drama and your cast, and this is your coworker who you're paid to fight with. Like it's giving WWE, like, you know what I mean? But if you're not watching it, you need to. Lisa has had a tragic fail for her confessional with the red shirt. She only has one smoky eye for whatever reason. Not a producer, not any of the girls, not her assistant, not her glam. Not anybody called it out, and they let her go like 3 episodes with a lack of a smoky eye on the other side, and it was fucking funny. Lisa is defending herself to the death because Bronwyn is coming for her and her lawsuits to say that like, oh, well, Lisa has all these lawsuits. And then Lisa on the most recent episode, you know, was saying that she doesn't and that they were dismissed except for one and blah, blah, blah. But before that, before this weird luncheon happened, they went to Amy, who is a Salt Lake City socialite, her party, and decided to stand around like a little bar table and yell gout dick on everything. And Lisa literally lost that battle so hard to Bronwyn. Bronwyn came with facts, came with good comebacks. Lisa was too stunned to speak, my girl. Like, I'm sorry, you may win the war, but you lost the battle. Like, that was tragic. All she could say is that Bronwyn likes sucking Todd's dick, and then Todd has gout dick. And she's like, yeah, I do like sucking dick. It's my husband. Like, sorry, I'm doing married things. But also, I too, like the rest of the world, didn't realize that you could get gout anywhere but your feet. And those of you who don't know what gout is, it's like allegedly like a rich people disease. Like Henry VIII had gout and whatever, because it's like from eating too much red meat. And then like, I don't know if it's poor circulation or what, but basically you get it in your feet and like it's hard to walk and it's disgusting. So I really hope gout dick is not true and accurate, but I don't want to yuck your young, Bronwyn, so whatever. And other Real Housewives news, Real Housewives Miami, the reunion just aired. Okay, you guys, kind of boring, was kind of listening here and there. Julia in the 11th hour decided to drop a bomb that allegedly her and Adriana hooked up in the Hamptons. Cheated on Martina. She was like, me and Martina we're going through like a bad thing. And when we were in the Hamptons, me and Adriana hooked up. Adriana's like, I didn't scissor anybody. You're making that up. I don't know who to believe, because Julia's throwing a Hail Mary because this is not her best season. I think if she wouldn't have done this, she would have got it voted off the island and not been asked back for next year. She has been really weird this season. The 2 adopted kids is just weird too. Like I feel so gross. Something about it seems so inauthentic every time they're on the screen. And also, I thought they weren't going to be on the screen. I thought she just adopted the boys because she wanted kids. Like, it's kind of giving a prop, and it makes me, something about it just really doesn't sit well with me. Adriana's pissed. Larsa's face doesn't move. It's this. Everybody else is aghast. And Alexia, Marisol, and who else? Gertie, I think, like, gang up on Adriana. This is my God, part 2 reunion preview. Good God, I couldn't think of the word. She's like, I didn't scissor anybody. But Alexia was like, but you partook. Sorry. Like, I love Alexia. I think she's one of those like elite housewives that just like, you know, delusional and add like so much to the show. I will say she does take a little bit of accountability than Teresa or like some of the other OG housewives. Like she does, you know, I think she is empathetic. Also, Alexia says that she's absolutely done with Todd. No contact. They are going through the divorce. Stephanie, I mean, I just don't think she had a good first season. I think everything that came out of her mouth sounded very pretentious, very elitist, which, yes, I do want my housewives like that. Like, at least she is rich. But apparently something is going on, which, you know, a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, I guess, months ago, I don't know when they filmed the housewives, but I saw Andy say, you know, tweet me your Real Housewives of Miami questions, whatever. And I was looking at the comments, and all the people were asking, like, please ask Stephanie about why her house is foreclosed on, and all these bankruptcies and, you know, different kind of financial issues. So we didn't get that in part 1. So I'm hoping maybe that will come out in part 2. So good. So good. Oh, you guys, I canceled my Hulu. Here's the thing. I obviously need to watch TV for my job, but also, like, because everybody was canceling and it was such a moral dilemma for me, I didn't yet. And then because everybody was canceling, they sent me an email to say, oh, because you're such a loyal customer. Like, they backhanded it. They were like, because you're such a loyal customer, we're going to raise our price $10 or $12, and therefore Hulu Live is now going to be $89.99. I think I was paying like $75, and I was like, fuck nah. So I canceled it and I got YouTube TV again. But how crazy is that? Like, they back in, because you're such a loyal customer, like, we are going to raise the price. Like, what the fuck, bitch? Anyways, so I canceled my Hulu. What's going on with Jimmy Kimmel? Is he back? Do you know?
Yeah.
Because I thought he came back, and then...
No, he, like, made something with all, like, the other talk show hosts, not including Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Like, people were on Jimmy Kimmel's side.
But was that, like, a special? Because I saw him post a picture with Colbert, Kimmel, and... Who was the other one? Seth Meyers. And they were like, hey, you know?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
But then he came back for a second, and I thought he was, like, back, but I guess he was only back for that one night.
Oh, they said they were just together for a short dig against Donald Trump.
Well, hopefully he's in talks with Hulu or somebody else. I mean, I don't really watch those late night shows anyways, but I mean, it's necessary for the entertainment industry to have shows like that, because that's how people get their projects out.
Yeah.
You know, so... Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban are divorcing. Now, earlier this week, they said that they were separated, and Nicole Kidman absolutely did not want any part of the separation. To divorce. She was, like, really fighting for the marriage. And then it came out that she filed for divorce because a couple of days later, they filed for separation, and then I think the next day it came out, or 2 days later, it came out that she filed for divorce. And then, like, 3 days later, it came out that he was dating somebody 25. Now I've been seeing him, like, on tour or whatever, wherever he's performing, he's kind of crushing out. And I guess he's sober. So people are saying that he might have relapsed. I'm not too sure, but... 19 years. It's like, what is the point? Oh my God. It's like, the point is to not waste my best years on you. The point is to die together. You know, the point is to, like, wipe my ass when I'm sick. You know, the point is to, like, sponge bath me, you know? And I feel really bad. Like, it feels like, 19 years is a great run. Like, but I don't know. It's just, they have, the youngest daughter is 14, and then the oldest one I think is 18. And I don't know. I feel bad for her. Big Little Lies is going to pop off, though, because everybody is single except for Laura Dern. Everybody's single on there. We got Zoe Kravitz dating Harry Styles, which, what is that about? I mean, I guess to be a celebrity, you have to be okay with, like, your ex being in the news, like, in the headlines, and then also, like, your friends dating them, because I don't know. I would just be like, no, girl, he's off limits. But I guess it would also, like, kind of depend which ex, I think. Like, maybe I would have, like, my top 3 that are, like, really off limits, and then everybody else is fair game, even though it's, like, kind of annoying, but whatever. I don't know. Okay. We're ending on this. 90 Day Happily Ever After. The best season they have cast. They have Darcy and Georgie. They have Kara and Guillermo. Oh my God. He's so hot. He's so fucking hot, you guys. They have Andre and Elizabeth. They have Lauren and Alexi. They have Yara and Jovi. Yara and Jari. Yara and Jovi. I mean, talk about chef kisses. This is literally the best season I think that they've casted. So like Darcy is already crying. I'm on episode 9, which I think I'm almost caught up. Darcy's already crying. She goes to Bulgaria with Georgie. As you know, their relationship is tumultuous, kind of off and on, but I guess they ended up getting married last year, and I don't know that it was filmed. So they've been married for a year now, and they go to Bulgaria because he hasn't been back to Bulgaria for 13 years, which is crazy because he's acting like he was never married before when he was married to that other girl in DC. And then Darcy and her had the conversation, and like Darcy is crying, but then like defending him. And she like claims that she's a girl's girl with the other girl, like, you know, warning Darcy about it. And then Darcy's like, well, I love him, so whatever. And then now she's like in this boat of like, I don't know. Georgie has aged. Darcy has really aged Georgie. But they're in Bulgaria for the first time. And then, you know, apparently he's never brought anybody home to meet his parents, not even his other ex-wife, which he failed to mention. He was like, this is my first wife and I'm bringing her home. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. And then I haven't gotten to the part where I think that she like cries meeting his parents or something for some reason. She's like, Georgie, I just need to feel my feelings, okay? Like, I don't know. She's aged him. He does look really good with the salt and pepper, but he doesn't look 38. Oh, also, hello, speaking of 38, Jasmine, Gino, and Matt, they're in their little open relationship throuple. Jasmine, I have to say, that is my girl, but she does not look 38. The filler and the plastic surgery has aged her a little bit. Probably also the stress of being with Gino has aged her a little bit. I miss, you know, a little bit, but also like it caught up. But like, you know, that she's now in this open relationship with Gino, with, you know, Matt, who is hotter. She ends up having his baby. Gino won't divorce her, or they're talking about divorce. Jasmine kind of wants to get back together. Oh, such a mess. Then Gino dates Jasmine 2.0. I'm telling you, this bitch Natalie looks just like fucking Jasmine. And what an ego boost for Gino to not only get one, but 2 really hot Latina women. Like, I'm sorry, they're only with you for the camera. Like, and if they're not, get a little more self-respect. Guillermo and Kara, I do really love them together. You can tell there's a lot of love there. But I also think there's a lot of friction. I feel like maybe it's a karmic relationship. I DM'd, well, I didn't DM, but I like tagged Guillermo in my story the other day. I was like, oh my God, I bet he's like scorned by like redheads, and he liked it. So I think he agrees, and I hate that for me, but literally so hot. I think he's a Cancer, and I love a Cancer man. I think they're like so fun and funny, and they're obviously in touch with their emotions, but usually I'm the one that really loves the Cancer, and then they don't love me back. So I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Okay, who else? Yara and Jovi seem to be in a good spot. She's doing her dog business. It's giving Cameron Westcott of Real Housewives of Dallas when she wanted to do sparkle dog food and like dye it pink, and like then your dog has like pink shit. But she's doing like a dog line of, you know, carriers and things like that. So they actually seem to be in a pretty good spot. Lauren and Alexi, kind of same place. I think Alexi has said that he's not really attracted to Lauren. Also, Lauren got braces. And I have to say, like, I think I should have gotten braces, to be honest with you. Because my Invisalign journey was not what I wanted it to be. Granted, I do think it was half my fault, but I do also think it was like half my orthodontist. And I just think if I had like real braces and if I got them again, maybe only 4 months. I'm no orthodontist. I don't know how long it takes to move your teeth, but I do just want them a little straighter. And Lauren has kind of inspired me to like get real braces. So I'm thinking about it. Maybe next year. I'll be a little brace face. It's okay. And then who else? Okay, Elizabeth and Andre. Okay, they have this whole storyline that they've made up about how he's from Moldova, obviously, and that he wants to move him and his family back to Moldova because they'll be able to make more money because obviously the dollar is better than whatever, currency they have there, and they'll be able to like live cheaply and also like have their investments grow and make more money. So they go spend a month allegedly in Moldova. They spend time with his family, and they're supposed to be there for like 3 weeks or something. I think she leaves like after week 1 or like 1.5. So they're in this Airbnb. Her dad, Chuck, comes. And if you don't know about Chuck, okay, Elizabeth comes from like a wealthy family. Her parents are divorced. She has 2 sisters and a brother. And her sisters and the family, that really needed to be the family Chantel, because the way that they needed a spinoff, that shit was so dysfunctional. The Andre and the brother are like Chuck Jr. are like fighting, like fist fighting in the Florida pool, and like, at this family barbecue. This is like seasons ago, so if you know the lore, you know the lore. So there's a lot of deep, not trauma, but there's a lot of deep history there with her family. But Chuck is in real estate and has made a lot of money off of, selling and doing investments and things like that. And him and Elizabeth do flips and, they invest in things like that. So when she married Andre, he did the same thing. A couple seasons ago, I guess it was on Happily Ever After as well, that Andre got his real estate license and, was working in the family business with Chuck and blah, blah, blah. Okay, now you're caught up. He takes Elizabeth to Moldova. He says that he invested $75,000 into an investment property, I think in 2021, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 4 years ago, maybe 2022, that he invested. It was 3 years ago that he invested during COVID, $75,000 with his partners. And long story short, he goes to take Chuck and Elizabeth, who is Elizabeth's dad, to the investment property. He is like, oh, it's an apartment building, like blah, blah, blah. This is a single family house. It is in distress. I mean, they're like, it smells terrible. Their bricks are laying down everywhere. He's like, no, it needs to be demolished. She's like, well, what do you mean? You said this is an investment and you guys have been working on this for 3 years and you're telling me it needs to be torn down? Like, what the hell is that about? He finally musters up and tells Elizabeth in Moldova at the fucking investment property that he was like, I don't have the money. It was stolen from the guys that I invested in. They were a Russian company, and now because of the war with Ukraine, they are nowhere to be found. They're not responding via email. I can't reach out to them. They're not answering the phone, et cetera, et cetera. And she's like, so our money is lost. And then he's like, yeah. Chuck and Elizabeth were pissed, rightfully so. Elizabeth books a flight home, and that's where I left off. It's truly gold. It's truly gold. I will say good on Andre for finally being a man and like mustering up the strength to like tell him that he lost like $75,000 of his family's money, which Elizabeth had no idea about. But yeah, I would be fucking pissed too. And that he was supposed to be keeping her in the know about, the investment and keeping her updated and abreast on the situation, and like never did. He's like, oh yeah, it's good. And not only that, he was not complaining or bragging, but he was like talking to Alexi and Jovi about how he lost the $75,000 and that he hasn't told Elizabeth yet, and like, keep it under wraps. Well, Jovi, Yara, Alexi, and Lauren go to a double date, and basically Alexi lets the cat out of the bag, and then Jovi's like, no, we weren't supposed to say that. And then now they're all talking about it at dinner, and then Elizabeth confronts Lauren and is like, oh, you were talking and gossiping about me and my family. So if you are not watching that, oh my God, you know who else is on there that I totally forgot? Tiger Lily and Adnan. They're getting a divorce, thank God. I don't know them too well, but that was never going to work. Tiger Lily is in Dallas though. Maybe we should get her on the pod. But yeah, he basically wants her to convert to Muslim, and she's like, no. And then I guess she posted like 2 weeks ago that they were getting a divorce. Hallelujah. So it's a great season. I think, I highly recommend. I mean, the core people are just truly, I mean, it's chef kisses. So without further ado, you guys, I also have a little surprise for you. I filmed a couple of weeks ago with Chauncey Pham, and we talk about all things real estate and flipping and how you should pivot your business. And I'm so excited to have her on. So without further ado, here's the interview. Welcome back, guys. I have a special guest coming all the way from the other side of Texas in Dallas. I have Miss Chauncey on. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. I obviously was like enamored by your content. One of my friends sent me your realtor commission rant, and if I could literally post that, I mean, I did post that everywhere, but if I could post that all day every day, add it to everything, I would, because it's
Yes.
crazy that people don't get it.
Yeah, no.
So I slid in the DMs and I was like, hey girl, like, love your energy, I think we would vibe, can you come on? And here you are. And I love somebody who is action oriented, much like moi.
Yes,
So
very action oriented, very accessible, and that's the whole purpose of my platform is just accessibility, being authentic to like who I am and true to myself and really just sharing in this industry as much information as I can for people.
I love that. So let's dive into that a little bit. So your platform, obviously I did a little bit of research, but I am a new follower. You do a lot more like DIY stuff, or you also do you said you used to do real estate.
So I'm still licensed. So my
Okay.
story is I got my real estate license in 2016, 2018, opened my own boutique brokerage, 2019, closed down my brokerage, joined a national brokerage that's pretty well known because I was able to recruit. Like I knew how to attract realtors. So joined that brokerage, became the number one recruiting agent in that brokerage within the first year and built a team of about 400 realtors underneath me. And because
Wow.
I was making money off of their money, then that allowed me to like go and do other things, which I always wanted to be in the investment space. I knew that I didn't just want to like sell houses forever. And
Mm-hmm.
so one of my main clients was an investor. He was a house flipper. And I told my husband, like, this guy is a goofball. If he can like get this many deals and make this much money, like you're smart, like you can build out the processes and systems, like quit your job and let's do this. And
Mm-hmm.
so he did. So my husband quit his job at the end of 2018. We picked up our first flip in January of 2019 and it was off to the races. And so essentially I stopped selling and got out of production, but I was still coaching, training, mentoring realtors as I was building up this investment side of my business. And by November of 2021, got approached by a television producer about doing a TV show because our flips were very design forward, a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different than most of the others. So we did a television show all of 2022 and 2023. We wrapped in February of 2024. And ever since then, I've just really gone all in on the education side and teaching realtors how they can pivot in their business, how they can scale up, how they can build out verticals, and how they don't really just have to be stuck on the wheel of production, which is what brokerages would have you believe.
Yes. Oh my God. I just think we're so aligned. I agree. Like, it's thank you for sharing. I'm like enamored by your story. I want to know more and more and more. But I agree. I think, people forget that they're an individual business. You
Yeah.
know, regardless if you're, working for that brokerage or not, yes, sure, you should represent them because, camaraderie and collaboration and things like that. But at the end of the day, like you're kind of on your own in the eyes of, NAR and track here in Houston, Texas, and things like that. And I just think people kind of forget, and also can rely on the brokerage too much to help them do that. Like they get into real estate. Well, I don't know why a lot of people get into real estate. But I mean, I love it, but like they get in thinking it's gonna be selling sunset and it's not, and they don't want to work. And I'm also gonna talk about that. But they get into real estate thinking that it's gonna be 9 to 5, like they still have like a 9 to 5 mentality versus like an entrepreneur mentality,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
absolutely. Yeah. When I talk to realtors, I have this analogy that I like to use that I explain what being a real estate agent is. And so essentially, like when you take your real estate exam, that's no different than you going down to the city and getting a business license for, let's say, opening a shoe store. And then when you are looking for your brokerage, that's equivalent to you looking for a storefront for said shoe store. And so your brokerage is really like the strip center or shopping mall that you choose to house your store out of. So just like that strip center or the property manager of that shopping mall that you're in, they're going to give you, parking spaces. They're going to tell you different places that you can maybe get a sign for outside of your store. They may even have recommendations on like point of sale systems. Their job is to make sure that the customers that come into your store have a safe space to conduct like their business and buy something. It's the same concept with real estate brokerages. Real estate brokerages don't even sell houses. They sell realtors. And realtors join them hoping that the brokerages are going to teach them how to sell houses, but they don't. Like they don't sell houses. They sell realtors. Their job is just to ensure that the consumer has a safe space to conduct their real estate transaction. And I think if more realtors looked at themselves as individual stores in strip centers, which are in the brokerages, that they would understand a little bit more about what their actual role and job is.
Ah, a word. And I'm so glad this is recorded. That's a clip right there. I just think people don't have that business mentality and it shows. And I think that's why it's important for consumers to also, do their own research. It's kind of twofold because like we don't need a lot of cooks in the kitchen because then, you get overwhelmed and it gets clouded. But at the same time, you do need to make sure, in my opinion, that your agent works full time or, works enough to where you didn't even know they had a second job, if that makes sense, to where,
Right.
the communication is there, they're not missing calls or deadlines or things like that, and that they're selling and then they're active in the market and then they know what they're doing. And I think there is a lot of research and due diligence that falls on each client, especially buyers. We can't tell you, oh, you should buy this house or X, Y, and Z. Like you
Yeah.
have to do your own research. Are you going to like that area? Do are you okay with the schools? Like just all the things that go into it. And I mean, I would say you would be surprised, but you win it. They're like, should I get this? Well, you're not guiding me. You're not telling me, but that's not true. Like there's a due diligence that comes for the buyer or the seller. Obviously, buyer has a little bit more risk involved, I feel like, because but yeah, I don't know. So and then sometimes it's just crazy, and then they'll give, it wasn't a good transaction, but then they're like, well, I'm sticking with this person because like I'm loyal, and then it's just that like,
Why?
oh, I know. I'm
Yeah.
like, why? If they did a bad job, like, don't do it again. Like, oh my God, there's hundreds of thousands of agents out there that will do a
Yeah,
good job.
it is. Absolutely.
Okay, so you got into the flip side. So how did you get this TV show and what did it air on? Was it on HGTV?
No, so I've built my entire business with a social media presence. Like literally, I never cold called. I never did any of the normal things that realtors do. I just leveraged social media the entire time. And so that's where television found me. So I actually was approached twice by television producers and went under contract with them so that they could pitch me to television networks as talent. But those producers and those production companies could never come up with a proof of concept for a show that networks wanted. So then when I got reached out to this third time, I ignored it. I literally ignored this guy like three times because I'm like, I don't feel like going through this whole process again. But what it was an existing show called Zombie House Flipping that was already on A&E. It had been on for 4 seasons, and they wanted to expand the franchise from just the team that they were previously following in Orlando to other cities. And so they were looking for talent. They reached out to me, said, we love what you do. We could expand to Dallas. And so essentially, I went through a short process where, they came, they did a sizzle reel with me and my husband and our team. And then they submitted that to A&E along with some other talent. We were selected like 2 months later, went through a really long like background check process. And so then we started filming in June of 2022.
Wait, which isn't that crazy because, you hear about The Bachelor and the Love Islands and whatever, and it's like, you guys didn't check Twitter?
Yeah.
Like I know you did.
Oh, girl. So the background check process when you're on a television show is crazy. They hire these third party companies that are essentially like the feds. Like it's some crazy, crazy stuff. So essentially, they hire these third party companies to do a really thorough background check before they allow you on TV because they don't want any like crazy scandals popping up, at a later date. And so I not only had to give them access to, my Facebook, my Instagram, and all of that, they went back to MySpace.
Were you like,
They
give me the login? Because like the things
Yeah.
I would love to
They
have
wanted
my
me
MySpace.
to like give them access, public access to my MySpace. And I'm like, y'all, I don't have the login for MySpace. Like, what do you even mean?
That is so funny.
Yeah,
My God,
so
your photo bucket, you're saying,
yeah, like
let's go
they
back to
wanted
prehistoric
all of
times.
that. Yeah, they definitely wanted all of that, and that wasn't something I could provide. But yeah, so we went through like a 6 month process of them checking our background, and then we started filming.
I love that. But what do you think about, because it blows my mind. I had a girlfriend that was on The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise as well. And, she said that they do extensive background checks and stuff. Do you think that they leave in these scandal or these like controversial opinions and things like that for ratings?
Yeah, it's not real. None of it is real.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean in terms of like, did you watch Love Island with,
Yeah.
Sierra? Yeah, Sierra, and then like other, but it's just like if you saw that and then but now you had to cut that other girl out of there. I forgot she only got like one
Right,
episode.
right. Yeah.
Like I guess I'm just like, what's the point? I guess it is for ratings, right?
It's for ratings. It's definitely controversy breeds ratings. And honestly, television is dying. No one values television the way that they value, the direct hits and access like you get through social media. And unfortunately, television is very expensive to create. And because it is so expensive, and it's only expensive because the executives are so out of touch with what people actually want, they could totally scale down on, girl, it used to be crazy. When we would film, we would have like 18 people on set. We would have a regular producer, an assistant producer, a field producer, production assistants. I mean, it's just people that are literally just getting paid to go and fetch water or like powder your nose. Like it's ridiculous. And so if they were to cut down on all of that, then producing shows wouldn't be so expensive and they would be less afraid to change some of the show concepts because TV is dying because they just keep remaking the same thing over and over.
Over and
That's
over.
been proven to work because it's so expensive to make that they're scared to change because if it flops and they're scared to lose money. And so it's a very interesting industry. I would do TV again, but I would definitely have to do it on my own terms and have some sort of creative freedom and part of the production process because it's a wild industry.
Yeah. How long were you doing content before they came to you for this opportunity?
About 4 years.
Okay.
I mean, I started doing content for my real estate business pretty immediately. So that was like September, October of 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got approached for the first time about television just 2 years later, which was like 3 months after I started my YouTube channel. So I started in real estate in like September, October of 16, started my YouTube channel in like January, February of 2018. And I had my first production company contract by June of 2018. And so then it just kind of kept going. But I ended up getting my own show. Obviously that was a couple years later.
Oh my God, I love that. God, I love the success story. Do you film all of your own stuff? I mean, I'm sorry,
Yes.
do you film your own stuff and then you edit it yourself as well?
I film and edit all of my content.
So if somebody is trying to be in, multiple businesses and buckets and things like that, obviously it's really hard to keep track of, your schedule. You have to be really organized, I feel like. What does like a typical day for you look like in terms of, waking up, filming content, doing flipping, doing your real job, pre-real estate, and, things like that, trying to get this going?
Yeah. So I have a membership group. And so first thing, as soon as I wake up, I go and check everything that has to do with the membership group. I'm making a couple of posts in there. I do have an operations manager that also goes and engages and does that. But that is the first thing that I do every day. Then obviously I'm so have 15-year-old and almost 11-year-old, get them dressed and off to school. Every single morning I go on a 4.3 mile walk and I typically make content when I walk. Content for me is more something that I do while I'm doing other things.
Okay.
And so then normally my walks are always going to be a time for filming, and then I'll even edit after I'm done filming the video so that by the time my walk is done, then that's something that I can post. I then typically come home, I get to work on a lot of my design work because I do design for other flippers and homeowners. I'm normally doing design work until about noon. Then, afternoon is typically when I'm going to go and visit any of our flips and any of our turnkey properties, because we not only flip for ourselves, but we flip for other people, and then pick up the kids from school. And then typically in the evenings is when I'll do like sit down, face to camera, videos and more content. And then I'll post something else, at night. But I will say for the average person, they're not going to be able to do that. They probably need to batch create. They probably need to get someone to film it and edit it for them. I enjoy content.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy making it. I enjoy the creative process of coming up with a storyboard for video ideas, for editing it, creating the layers in the editing. Like, I enjoy that. 99% of people, especially in real estate, do not.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, my best advice to people that are trying to do content is if you don't love it, don't do it.
That's what I say too, or outsource it. I mean, truly,
Even
like
outsourcing, if they don't like it, my hot take is if you don't like content and you don't necessarily like how you look on camera, you don't get excited to see like a finished product from an idea, and a concept coming to reality. It comes through in your videos that you're uncomfortable and that you don't have the confidence, and it's very cringy, and I think that it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
And I think that when I first got into real estate back in like 2016, 2017, that was the beginning of everyone thinking like, I need to get on social media. And so that was when the big boom happened. But I don't think everybody should be on social media.
I don't either, and I don't especially if you don't get it, it is going to be counterproductive, especially for your business. If you feel let's just speak specifically real estate. Like, if you're in real estate and you're like, "Oh, I have to do this for my individual business, not so much brokerage, but like individual business, and to get clients, but you don't understand the concept and you're just kind of throwing shit at a wall hoping it sticks."
Right.
Like, that definitely comes through.
Yeah, it comes through and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, nobody cares about the pictures anymore of you with a client and a gold glitter key. No one cares about the house tours, unless there's something funny about them. I like a lot of the deliveries now where, the agents are going in, and they kind of have their own shtick. They're funny about it and they're talking, like, that works. But again, that's only going to work for so long.
And for so long, and for certain people that doesn't translate. Like I'm pretty quirky. I feel like, our brand like aligns. Like, I feel like we're outspoken and we're very, phone facing camera. Just I'm on something, but that doesn't translate to everybody else. Some people are more like, polished. Even the polished videos are dying. And I don't know about you, but I have seen this weird influx of, well, one, real estate videos in general. And I hope I'm just getting targeted because it's like a lot. Two, they're weirdly executed. The production is great, but the editing, I just talked about this. They're doing like weird, like word art. Like, we're doing an orange, and then this,
it's like
and then
behind them.
and then the house falls, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, what's going on? This is
I'm
ugly.
seeing a lot of those too.
It's so ugly. I can't wait for that trend to die.
Realtors just in general are not creative. There are so many different things that they could do that could be of value to the audience that they're not doing.
Mhm.
Instead of doing just a video of this house tour, instead go into a specific neighborhood and show what you can get for $300,000 for new construction and for pre-owned. And like, actually, like, show something of value to the audience that they can learn from and do it in an entertaining way. But instead, they're all just kind of copying each other. And I think that that's why I stood out when I got in the business.
Yeah, and on this like rat or hamster wheel of just copying each other and then not really understanding. And I do believe like you can be a good because I know some agents that are like really great, you know, they work at big brokerages and they sell a lot, but sometimes I'm like, what is this video?
Yeah, no. I don't think that everyone belongs on social media. I'll stand
Yeah.
by. Just like everyone doesn't belong on TV. It is a very specific skill. You have to be charismatic. You have to speak a certain way that positions you as an authority and have some sort of authoritative, presence. And most people just don't have that. And it's okay. I
Hmm.
just hate the narrative that was fed to real estate agents that they have to get on social media. Like, no, you guys have to generate leads. And if that
Right.
means pounding the pavement in your neighborhood and you're putting on community events or you're doing postcards or cold calling or doing, open house, whatever it is, just find that thing that's for you and stick to it. But for the love of puppies, get off of Beyonce's internet making videos where your pits are sweating and it looks like you're about to have a nervous breakdown. Just
I,
stop.
I know it's too much. And speaking just not on like realtors in general, but like, you know, on TikTok when they're like, just post the content, girl, just post the content.
No.
I saw this one of like, you know, just doom scrolling. I mean, I can't remember anybody's handle on TikTok anyways, because it's, you know, it's just so fast. But I saw this one, this is like a couple months ago, maybe like 2 months ago now. This girl was like just playing tennis with her friend. I didn't even pay attention that much. I don't even know if it was boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. And she, you know, their backs are turned and she's like playing tennis. Like she just picked it up yesterday. And she's like playing tennis every day until Wilson, you know, sponsors me to go to Wimbledon or like whatever. And, you know, it had 40 likes and like 200 views and good for you. But I'm like, babe, that's not how it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
It's
mean to be
it.
a hater and I'm not. I think you need to be realistic. And I
Yeah.
think the internet is filled with a lot of yes men or
Yeah.
women and yes people and to just be like yeah do it rah rah rah, especially because you know I'm on get me out of this country TikTok and people are like I'm an American living in Amsterdam, want to know how I did it, here's the visa you can do, but you know all the comments are like how do you work, what are you doing, like
Yeah.
you know yeah I can go live as a nomad for a year in Albania or whatever, but it's like what how am I eating, you know, and it's like
Yeah.
they missed that part, but somebody was like they make money based off of posting this content, is it not obvious? And I
Yeah.
have to say unfortunately it was not obvious for me, but but you know what I mean, I'm just like
Yeah.
it's shit like that. It's like if you want to leave you do it, and I love that positivity in a sense, but it can also become toxic very quickly because it's like okay I'm here in Albania now what, and it's like well again you didn't do your research,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
know.
Well, but I mean, I think that speaks to just a bigger societal issue of anti-intellectualism. People, girl, we could go into some deep combos here, but
Ooh,
essentially people lack critical thinking skills. They lack critical thinking skills, and because they lack critical thinking skills, they lack the confidence to go and execute things. I in a million years would never ask someone what they do for work if they move out of the country, or how would you succeed, or how is it possible. And the reason it would never cross my mind to ask that question is because I know wherever I go
you're doing
I'm
it.
going to be successful
Mm-hmm.
because I think critically.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think critically, I have confidence in myself to try different things. I understand that the world only works on two things: problems and solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever I go, both of those two things exist. And as long as I can position myself to be in the realm of them, then I'm gonna be fine. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that, just societally, which this ties back into realtors, right? I think that societally, we've been taught from a really, really young age to not be problem solvers. Think about, my kids, when I help them do their homework in math and it's solve this math problem, use the such and such method to solve this problem and show your work. So not only are they told to solve a problem, they're told how to solve it, and they're penalized if they're not solving it in the way that they're being instructed. And then we have all of these adults that grow up and don't know how to make money beyond someone telling them exactly what to do. And then they see this realtor that made money and decide, I'm going to get my real estate license and get in this business. And when there's no one there to tell them exactly what to do and how to execute marketing and how to execute building out processes and systems and how to sell and how to close, then they are lost. And what we have now is this culture of, again, anti-intellectualism and just dumbass adults that are out here winging it, that are terrified of their own shadow. And it drives me insane.
Yes, they are just like not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And it also like no one wants to work. Can I tell you? I've had so many issues as of late, like over the last couple of weeks, which I think is weird because it's September, raising rent prices. Hey, it's been on the market for 80 days. Why'd you raise it $150?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. You know, sellers not answering and or wanting to sell, or just like, oh, well, I don't know. Oh, well, no. Or, you know, agents can't get a hold of their clients. Like, you know, just, you know, agents not answering the phone. That's my biggest pet peeve. Maybe I'll cut this, but I'm reporting shit right and left. I'm going to tell you this right now. We need to fucking crack that whip, and I'm ready. Like, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. No one wants to work. No one gets it. And I totally agree with you on, I moved to LA to pursue acting and do all this stuff when I was 22. And I literally went on a whim. Now, granted, I did kind of plan out. I didn't get a wild hair up my ass on a Saturday and was there on Monday, like I planned it out and stuff, but I didn't know anybody. And it was the most freeing thing. I had so many jobs. That's the thing too. I agree with you. It's confidence, it's ambition, it's work ethic, it's determination. And I just think like a lot of people have lost those skills or maybe never had it. I don't know. Couldn't be me. But yeah, I could go on a rant about that, about like no one wanting to work. And then I'm just like, they're like, oh, well, you're not being nice. No, answer the damn phone. This is the third time I'm calling you. We have an offer. What's going on?
Real estate is the Wild West right now. But I think that's why I'm constantly talking to realtors about pivoting, reinventing themselves. Yeah, like you cannot stay in the same place, because there is one thing for certain in all things in life, but also in real estate, which is the market's going to change. Change is the only thing that is inevitable, right? And I don't think that people prepare themselves for that change. And so, since I've been in the business, I've been a realtor, I've been a brokerage owner, I've been a team leader. I then ran a large revenue share group and moved more into the mentor space. I've done house flipping, capital raising, development, design, build. Like I can do all of these things in real estate. And I know just when to pivot based on where the market shifts. And I think a lot of agents, because they lack critical thinking skills and they need someone to tell them exactly what to do in every situation, they're really, really missing out on some huge opportunities right now in the market where, their services could be used if they would just pivot just slightly instead of saying, I can't get any clients. Nobody's buying. Interest rates are too high. Then why aren't you focusing on solving a problem that fixes one of those things for people? It's very frustrating. So I try to empower people to embrace the pivot.
And if somebody did want to pivot and, started to kind of open their mind, especially after hearing our conversation or anything, what would you say is like a next step from, after becoming an agent? Would you say like maybe, focusing more on investors, or what would be a pivot that is a good stepping stone?
So I think that's a really loaded question. And the only way that people can answer that is to get very introspective and understand what they're good at. So there are some people that get into the real estate game and they're really good at the paperwork side and the administrative side. So then maybe that pivot for them looks like doing something more in transaction coordination. Maybe they're very A-type personality and they're really good at organizing. So then maybe they could reach out to some investors and learn how to project manage and collect 5 or 6%, a fee for all of the construction jobs, which then also gives them education on what construction costs, so that as they're serving their clients, houses that may need some work or need repairs, they're able to spout that information off quickly. And maybe they're really, really good at the networking side. And so then maybe they can go and work with a multifamily syndicate and start raising capital and get a commission on the capital that they're raising. Like, it's a ton of different ways to go. But again, everyone wants someone to give them the answer. And there is no one answer for everyone. Everyone can't follow my path because you're not good at what I'm good at. And so I think that it starts with understanding what you enjoy, the type of business that could be sustainable because you're doing things that you enjoy. And more importantly, you're doing things that you're good at, because then that gives you the confidence that you need to plow forward and do something in a sustainable way.
Oh, another word. I love that. I mean, I totally agree. I have a marketing background, so I have, kind of pivoted in that direction. Obviously, I'm still selling and I do love it, but we got to make money,
Yeah.
So again, I'm not working for free. Maybe, you could, not you, but the people out there, that's fine. I think it comes down to value and confidence, and also fighting for yourself. And that was, the video that enamored me, was because, you were like, it's crazy that, agents are so quick to give up their commission. And what you said is so true. If they don't care about their funds and they're so quick to give up their funds, what makes you think that they're protecting yours as the buyer or seller, investor, whatever? And I just think that's so true. I wanted to talk a little bit and wrap on your design aspect. How did you get into that, and what do you mean by you have more like elevated flips?
So essentially, when I got into flipping, the one thing that I remembered from our very first flip was all of the times that I would take clients as a realtor into houses that had been flipped. And I remembered also just on home tours, let's say I take a client to see 8, 9 houses in a day. At the end of the day, I would say, what were your favorite houses? And most of the time, the flips were never called out as their favorite houses because they all looked exactly the same and the clients didn't remember them at the end of the day. So I told my husband when we got into flipping that we had to do our flips a little bit different, because I wanted to have at least one thing in every house that at the end of a tour, when a realtor took them out to see houses, that client would say, oh yeah, I remember that house with that green door, or that house that had that glass pantry, enclosure, or whatever the case may be, that had that cool concrete fireplace. And so I set out when I started flipping to create a thoughtful design in the mid-range price point, because our houses and our projects are typically right above the median price point in Dallas Fort Worth. So they're not expensive homes, but I knew if I did that, because all the other houses, everyone else is just being safe and painting everything gray and putting in gray LVP, and if I do something slightly different, my houses will fly off the shelf. And sure enough, that strategy worked. And now we even have a following of people that, will call us and say, hey, realtors, they say, hey, I've got a client that's looking for, kind of a quirky house. Like, do you guys have anything coming? And so that's what kind of led me down the path to doing more design forward flips. And so I've coined myself as like the flipper, because I don't go into houses, and I hate going into flips where people have just painted everything gray and white and they haven't thought about the product, because I also, think about this product that I'm creating as a space that someone's going to move their family into, that they're going to have birthdays there, that they're going to, celebrate things there. They're going to have hard times there. And I'm not just flipping for a profit. I'm flipping for a product that ultimately, people are going to be able to appreciate, in the future and live their lives in.
I love that. And I don't know. I don't know why people are doing the gray and white. Do you? Is it just like because it's easy? Okay, well, all right. That's what I thought. So
I mean, the majority, and that's not to be snarky or anything, but the majority of real estate investors are men, and they're very driven just by the numbers. They're not really driven creatively to live in spaces. So most houses that are flipped and they're really cute, there was a woman involved some sort of way, because she's being thoughtful about all of these things that men typically don't care about. They just care about their bottom line. But what's happening is all of those very boring gray and white flips, they're sitting on the market. They're not selling.
Nope.
The buyer is not falling for it anymore. So I'm now being hired by a lot of those guys that are saying, hey, I don't know what to do anymore. What I've done for the last 8 years does not work anymore. Like, I will pay you to come in and, do this design for me. And so I have a large part of my business doing that now.
Well, I love that people are kind of being the anti beige mom millennial
Yeah.
gray now because they're bringing back color, they're bringing back style, maximalism. I mean, I've always been really maximalistic. I mean, you can't really tell in my apartment, but my personality is eccentric and maybe not throughout the whole house, but I definitely want a room eventually that, I mean, I had a whole leopard room in third grade from floor to ceiling.
Love
Okay. Like leopard curtains, leopard, the matching and all the stuff. So I love it. I think it can be tastefully done. And I think color also, not all of us are Steve Jobs. Okay. We don't need a uniform and we don't need to live in like a, 8x8 cell. Okay. Like a white box. But, I think color like inspires people, functionality inspires people. And, it's crazy because, this client that I just got under contract, the mom is a very high-end designer as well. And I mean, I do this, but like, she's like, okay, does the fridge even open all the way? Does the oven open? I mean, you would just be surprised that like you walk in, especially these like older 1920s houses, like they take all the damn charm out. You're
Yeah.
taking the stained glass out, and then, you're putting all these big clunky appliances, which is probably necessary, but it's like you're not expanding or making it functional and you're just kind of like slapping it together and like we can tell. So I'm with you. Buyers aren't falling for it anymore. And things are getting too expensive for people to be just willy-nilly about stuff, and they have to really understand what they're buying, what product they're buying. And again, I think it comes into having a great agent and support system behind you, as well as the buyer doing their due diligence off, like not just on TikTok, not just on Instagram, not just on ChatGPT, so a lot of sources. But well, I won't take up too much of your time. I swear you have to come back because we have to just shoot the shit about other stuff. And I mean, I'm all down for deep thoughts and chats and stuff like that. I love that. So please let everybody know where they can find you and follow you and watch your show and everything like that.
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube at _Chauncey Show. So just look me up there or visit my website at myrealestaterebel.com to just look and check out some of the things that I'm doing and new events that I'll be speaking at soon.
I love that. And everything will be linked in the show notes. I appreciate you coming on, and you guys give her a follow. Follow Coffee Meets Vodka anywhere you get podcasts and on Instagram and TikTok at coffee.meets.vodka. Subscribe anywhere, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.